Reclaiming Catholic Intimacy, formerly Charting Toward Intimacy, covers mature topics. Listener discretion is advised. Enrollment is open right now for Want It and Enjoy It, and I've been getting a lot of questions about what is included, what is this program, who is it for? So this episode is breaking down everything about Want It and Enjoy It. Welcome to Reclaiming Catholic Intimacy, the podcast for Catholic wives that helps you improve your sex life, strengthen your marriage, and embrace God's design for love. My name is Ellen Holloway, and let's get started. So what is Want It and Enjoy It? Want It and Enjoy It is my 8-week group coaching program for Catholic wives who want to increase their libido, increase their desire for sex, and want to learn how to orgasm. Now, this is a program for you if you fall into one of those categories or both of those categories. A lot of my students fall into both of them, but I have several students who do desire intimacy and sex and things like that, but don't experience orgasm. And so I can teach those skills in how to experience orgasm and how to improve sex. And then I also have students who they can orgasm, but their libido is zero. There's no desire for sex. That feeling is not there at all. And so I can teach that skill as well, how to cultivate desire, how to understand desire, how to work with our desire type. And then, of course, if you fall into both those categories, this program is 1000% for you. Now, this is an 8-week group coaching program, and I get asked a lot why it is a group coaching program, because this is such an intimate topic. And here's the reason. When we bring things into the light, the devil cannot control them anymore. That is biblical. But when it comes to sex and intimacy, because it is such an intimate and vulnerable topic, it is not a common topic that we talk about with our friends. So we feel like we are alone. And the number one comment that I get from all of my students when they are finishing the round of Want to Enjoy It, when they finish the 8 weeks of coaching, is they say, the best part about this program was that I realized I wasn't alone. The most helpful part about this was these group coaching calls where I saw a bunch of other ladies who were also struggling in this way and who also care enough to try to improve our sex lives. So it is absolutely intentional that this is a group program. I actually don't do one-on-one coaching right now for this reason, because you will improve faster in a group setting. And I know that feels very uncomfortable. And here's what I want to answer for that. If you are like, oh my gosh, I could never enter into a group setting. I recently had a wonderful woman in the last round of Want It and Enjoy It who told me, actually before she bought the program, she was like, I don't think I can do this whole group thing. And this is what I told her, is you don't actually have to show up to the live sessions. You can watch them on your own time. And there's actually no requirement for any group interaction in the program at all. But the fact that it is a group and you'll be listening to the recordings of the group conversation and the group coaching that is happening, that in and of itself, even if you never show up, will transform the way that you think about sex, the way that you act about sex, the way that you understand sex. And it will help you understand that you are not alone in this. And this wonderful woman, she asked to remain anonymous, which is I totally respect. But in her final survey that she filled out for me, I have all of my students fill out a final check-in, kind of just see where we're at, what we still need to be working on. And I give guidance on what to work on next and where to keep going in the material. Because as a part of Want It and Enjoy It, you get the 8 weeks of live group coaching, but you get all of the materials for life. You get lifetime access to that, which is amazing because this is a lifetime journey. So in her final check-in, she shared with me that she was so glad that it was a group setting. And she never once attended a live session, but she received so much value from listening to the recordings. She said that even there was a woman in there who seemed like she was about the same age as her, which was just very, very helpful for her to recognize, oh, even women my age struggle with this. Even women in perimenopause struggle with this. I'm so happy I'm not alone. That was one of the biggest takeaways that she had. So it's a group program. And it's a group program for a reason. But I also fully respect that that might not be something that you're comfortable with yet, and that is okay. There's no requirement to attend the live sessions. You can also attend the live sessions with video off. You can change your name in Zoom. So you could even just change your name to group participant or anonymous or choose a pseudonym, right? Like if I'm going on, I could change my name to Kathleen. I'm not Kathleen, but I could change my name to Kathleen. That's okay. I don't mind that. And I understand that some of us really, this is such a intimate subject that it can feel very, very awkward to be in a group like that. But at the same time, that group is exactly what is going to propel your movement forward in Want It and Enjoy It. And what is the group coaching? This is an opportunity to come together on a weekly basis, and you've worked through some amount of the material, some amount of the course library that is there for you, and you've come up against an issue. Like, hey, I started working on the mindset module, and I don't understand how to change this very negative belief that I have about sex, how to think about that in a more positive way. Can you help me to parse that out, to figure out what is the right thoughts to be having? How can I change my thoughts about this? Or I started in the communications module and I did everything that you said in the video, Ellen, and I still can't talk about sex. What do we do? How do we move forward from that? Right? So it is your opportunity to, having gone through some amount of the material, having watched a video that week, having tried something, to then bring that to the group coaching call and receive coaching through that issue. So that might look like, answering some basic questions. Sometimes we just have questions that need answers. That might look like brainstorming and troubleshooting some difficulties with experiencing pleasure, troubleshooting difficulties with communication, troubleshooting issues with, intrusive thoughts coming into your head during sex, right? This can look like a lot of different things. Or it can also look like kind of a deep dive into what really are your thoughts about sex and how is that affecting the results that you are having with sex. And this is ultimately what is going to move that needle forward. Again, is that group opportunity for this, because you can bring your own issues, but then also the rest of the group is bringing their issues, and you are able to listen in on that and apply those things to your own life. Because what inevitably happens, like every single time, is someone will raise their hand in the group coaching call and say, Ellen, I'm dealing with this issue. Can you help me with this? And then like 5 other ladies in the comments will be like, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with that too. Thank you so much for asking this question. Thank you so much for being brave and sharing that you're struggling with that, because I am struggling with that too. Like, it is just this constant reminder that we're not alone in this and that we actually can change. Now let's talk about what else is included. So you have a full course library that is included with lifetime access. Lifetime access. This course starts with the foundations module. This is a fast track process. It is 5 days of videos that you are going to watch in your first 5 days in the program. And that will pinpoint exactly where you need to put your effort within the round of Want It and Enjoy It, within the 8 weeks of coaching. So it has 5 videos in it. The first video is church teaching on sex and intimacy. The next video is mindset. The next video is practical sex ed. Then we have communication. And then we have orgasm and pleasure. And when you go through that is how you are going to figure out exactly where you need to put your intention and effort for the next 8 weeks. And there are modules that then correspond to those topics. So you'll figure out which topic it is that is most painful, that is causing the most issue right now. And then you're going to jump into that module, and that's where you're going to spend your time for the 8 weeks. And we'll coach through that module and that process. I would say about 95% of the ladies go through that foundations module and say, I need to work on mindset. So just a fair warning that most of your difficulties with sex right now are actually due to the way that you are thinking about sex, about the thoughts that you have about sex. So just a little primer there. It's probably mindset work that we need to work on. Also included is weekly Q&A. So you're going to have the opportunity to submit questions each week, and then I'm going to be recording a video to just answer all of those questions, and you can watch that video at any time. As you're working through this material, as you start applying it to your life, to your marriage, to the thoughts that are in your head, questions come up. They inevitably come up. And that is why this is actually new for this round, is this Q&A video every week and just being able to submit questions at any time. And then I will just round up all the questions from that week and do a video on them, because it can be kind of hard to, if a question comes up, you're working through the material at 3 p.m. on a Thursday, but the next coaching call isn't until Tuesday afternoon. It's a lot to kind of hold on to that question and wait for it, right? You can just submit that question right at that moment, and then it will be answered in the next weekly Q&A video. Also included in Want It and Enjoy It is 2 super fun bonuses. You cannot get these anywhere else. And I've actually done podcast episodes explaining why I don't sell these anymore as one-off products, but inside the course, you can actually receive the Catholic Sex Positions Guide and the Getting in the Mood Guide. So those are available as bonuses to you when you sign up for Want It and Enjoy It. And the reason I don't sell those on their own is because they actually kind of don't work on their own. We need to do a lot of this foundational work, this mindset and understanding the practical sex ed and understanding what the church teaches before those are even useful. All right, let's talk about your investment for this course. So I want you to get results. And so there are 2 things that I ask you to invest in this course. One, of course, is the payment of the course. Want It and Enjoy It is 3 payments of $197, or you can pay in full and get a discount. So there's 2 options for you depending on what your preferences are for paying for programs. But the other investment that I ask of you is I ask for 2 hours a week. One of those hours is the group coaching call. And then another hour is time that you are working on the program. So time that you are watching a video, working on some of the exercises, maybe trying to have a conversation with your husband, like applying the things. So I'm asking you for 2 hours a week, and that might feel like a lot. And that's okay if it feels like a lot, because this is an 8-week program. I like fast results. And when I was originally building this program, I was like, should this be a 6-month program? Should it be a year-long like mentoring program? Because issues with sex and intimacy are deep-seated. They need a lot of work. They need a lot of attention and care. And we all have really busy lives. But when I really thought about it, I was like, I don't want to wait. I wouldn't want to wait 6 months to start seeing results in my sex life. I wouldn't want to wait a year to start seeing results in this program. I want to see results right away. And so I squished the program down to 8 dedicated weeks, and we are going to work hard in these 8 weeks. So if you join this program, roll up your sleeves and give me those 2 hours a week, you will not recognize yourself after 8 weeks. Your sex life will transform so substantially that you're just going to be blown away by what was able to be accomplished. Yes, it's a lot of work. Yes, it's a lot of effort. These are not easy things to solve. But I promise you, it is worth putting in the work. It is worth putting in the effort, putting in the time investment into this program, because you will see massive results when you put in the time. I promise. So that is all of the details on Want It and Enjoy It. I cannot wait for this next round to start. Enrollment is open July 20th through July 31st. Enrollment closes on July 31st, and then we start in August with the group coaching calls. Head to reclaimingcatholicintimacy.com/want-and-enjoy to sign up, or you can just click the link in the show notes. I can't wait to see you in this next round. Hey, If you're a Catholic wife who wants to increase your desire for sex and actually experience pleasure in the act, I want to invite you to join the next round of Want It and Enjoy It, where you're going to learn how to cultivate desire, learn the skill of orgasm, and learn how to think differently about sex so that you can look forward to sex and actually enjoy it. Just head to reclaimingcatholicintimacy.com/want and enjoy, or click the link in the show notes.